Hello deviants, what's up? Welcome back to another video. So in this video, I'm going to tell you something about the used superbike field from my experience. So in my last video, I had told you how you can buy a superbike. So obviously you need to make a lot of money, you need to earn a lot of money. And once you are ready with the money, now comes the question whether you have to go for a new bike or a used bike. So when you want to buy a new superbike, so typically the scenario would be like, bro, since my second standard I wanted that bike, bro, something like that. So when you have a dream motorcycle, just giving you an example, an R1 or a ZX-10R, so you won't be confused with which bike to go for. You already know what you want. So that's when you go for a new bike. And also, of course, you have all the money to get a new bike, and you don't have any plans to sell the bike in a long time. When I say long time, a minimum of 5 years. So that's when you get a new bike. What have I written here? So guys, I am not sure whether these letters are clear in the video because they're very small, I guess. And I am shooting this video in 4K, so if you're not able to see the letters, please watch it on a big TV. Also, I'll have a close-up of this board, a short video of the close-up running at the end of this video. So if you want to have a closer look at this board, then you can skip to the end of the video, and there you'll have that short clip. So what was I telling you? Yes, so perks of getting a new superbike, of course, you will experience its full life cycle from the day you get the delivery to the day you sell it, or to the day you put it to scrap, I mean after keeping it forever. So you'll experience a full life cycle of a bike, just like giving birth to a child. Of course, with child it's a different story because you won't be alive to watch the end of your children. Am I talking nonsense, guys? Please forgive me. I tend to talk some bullshit in between. And yes, of course, I would say the disadvantage of buying a new superbike is that it has very high depreciation. Doesn't matter you keep the bike for 1 month or 1 year or 10 years, you will still lose a lot of money compared to a used superbike. I'll tell you how people calculate the depreciation. So once you take a bike and register it in your name, it instantly loses 10% of its value. Suppose a bike costs you 20 lakhs on road and you get it registered in your name, you're the first owner. So when you want to sell it the next day, because it's registered in your name, it will already undergo depreciation. Because you are the first owner and the person whoever is buying it will be the second owner. Doesn't matter he is buying the bike on the second day of its delivery, it still doesn't matter, he will become the second owner, so he will expect a price cut from you. Probably he would ask for 18 lakhs, if he's lucky 18.5, so that's 1.5 to 2 lakhs depreciation just in a single day because you got the bike registered in your name. So that's how things work in superbike field. Also, year on year, the value reduces by 10%. So it differs from bike to bike. Every bike has its own market value. So from a new bike to a used bike, that bike falls to that market value if it's in a good condition. So it will stay there. It won't go further down. It will stay there. So that's about the new superbike. Now, when do you want to buy a used superbike? So you want to buy a used superbike when you're not sure that how long you're going to keep the bike for. So you can take myself as an example. I would like to explore all kinds of superbikes, all brands, to get familiar with all the brands and then later decide which one is the best for me. Even I want to buy a brand new superbike in future, of course, but I want to study all the brands and all the bikes before I do that, because I will know which bike suits me the best. So people ask me this question always, bro, I have a choice of this bike and this bike, you tell me which one is the best. Bro, there is no best bike, trust me, there is no best bike. The best bike is whichever suits your requirements best. So when will you know whether a bike suits your requirements? Only when you have it. So that is the reason I am exploring all the bikes possible. Also, used bike can also be owned for a long term. So suppose you buy a used bike and you want to keep it for 5-6 years, you're good to go. It's your choice. The advantages of used bike, like I said, is you can explore multiple bikes, get familiar with multiple brands, and most importantly, the depreciation is very less. Suppose you buy a 5 years old ZX-10R for say 11 lakhs. It's a good bike, it's a good condition bike, 11 lakhs. and you will keep it for 1 year or 2 year, you will still be able to sell the bike for at least a minimum of 9 lakhs. If you are lucky, if you know to play the game, then probably you will sell it for 10.5 or 11 lakhs, the same price what you bought for. So that is the advantage in used superbikes. So this video is all about what you need to check while buying a used superbike. So I have written here what to check. The first comes the model year, of course. That is the main price decider. This is one of the main factors that decide the price, model year. The older the model, the lesser the price. The newer the model, higher the price. Very simple logic. Second comes the number of owners. This is a very important thing, guys, in used superbike field. It's always better if you're buying from the same owner, same person whose name is on the RC card. So many people, what they do, they buy these bikes, used superbikes. Say suppose a first owner of a superbike has sold his superbike to someone, and that person has not registered it in his name. He'll keep using the bike and sell it, saying it's a first owner bike. Practically the bike had 2 owners, but theoretically it's only one, because the second guy did not register it. So it's always better for you to verify if the name on the RC card is the same person whom you're dealing with. Next comes the service history, of course. If you have contacts in the service centers, is there any records for our service bill and stuff, it's better, because you will know what has happened to the bike previously and what you need to do, what is the pending work that needs to be done on the bike when you're getting it. So when I say that, future expenses is a very important thing here. So you might think, I have certain amount of money, I go and buy a bike and that's it, end of the story. No, that does not end there, because not everybody will tell you the true things about the bike. So the bike would need a wall clearance check in the near future. It would need a change of tires. It would need a change sprocket set, a new one. It would need some engine work. Depends on how many kilometers the bike has run, guys. I'll just give you a very straight example. When I bought my GSXR 1000 recently, I think I bought it like 1 or 2 months back. So it's actually my fault, I did not check for it. The bike was all neat, very neat, guys. This bike was almost next to brand new. It had run just 5,800 kilometers. So I just had a look at the bike and other stuff, and yes, I purchased the bike. And after I got it home, I see that the front right side fork oil seal has gone. So it's leaking oil from the front right side fork. Now what can I do? I cannot call them back, call the previous owner back and tell him, okay, the fork seal has gone, you did not tell me. So that would be my fault, because I did not check it. I didn't do that, of course. So I went to the service station and changed the fork seal of both the forks, and now it's all good. You would have seen the pictures on my Instagram. So things like that, guys. Suppose you buy a bike and the chain sprocket set is almost worn out. So what will you do with it? Another 1,000 kilometers or 2,000 kilometers, you will need to put a new sprocket set, which will cost anything between 5 to 10,000. So that becomes an additional cost to you. If you're not ready for it, you may get mad because the owner did not tell you. So that's your mistake, you did not check it. Guys, in superbike field, right, I tell you, whatever you check before you pay the cash, right, that is the only thing that stands. After you give the money and take the bike, no matter what you blame, how much you cry, it's not gonna work, because you should have done that earlier. Also, look out from where you're actually getting the bike. Who is the owner? Do you have any mutual friends, or what is the source? I mean, do you know anybody who knows the history of the bike, who's been seeing it? So that way you're sure that you can trust on the owner. And you need to check whether the bike is track used, because some superbikes in the field, they would have run very less, guys, like as low as 2,000, 3,000 kilometers. But all the 3,000 kilometers they have used, it would be on a track. So some people just buy bikes for track use, and then if something goes wrong, if they crash on the track, they would get all the fairings back together. See, when they take the bikes to track, right, they don't keep the original fairings. They'll change fairings to track use, and then probably if the bike crashes, then they will put the original fairings back, maybe repair the small damages and put the original fairings back and try to sell it off. So you have to be careful with that. And of course you have to check for accidents or falls or damages. See, it doesn't matter how a superbiker rides his bike. It doesn't matter how fast he rides. It doesn't matter how rash he rides. Nothing will happen. Those bikes are made for that kind of riding, so they can take that beating. But if the bike goes through a crash or an accident, or if it falls without having any crash guards or protectors, that's when the bike undergoes a major damage. Once there is a crack in the frame or damage in the internal structure of the bike, that's when it loses its stability. So you'll always have to be very careful. Please avoid bikes which have gone through hard crashes, accidents and stuff like that. So how can you recognize if the bike has gone through a crash? First thing, straight point, check the insurance. They would have claimed insurance to fix the damages previously when the bike has gone through an accident. Or some people won't use insurance because it's traceable, that the other person will know. They just pay direct cash and then get the bike repaired. So in that case, you'll have to be very careful in observing the bike. So before you get into the superbike field, I suggest you please know the basics of a bike. That's the only way you can stay safe. If you're someone who wants superbikes just to ride and you have no clue of the technical aspects of a bike, then you will land into trouble. People will start fooling you. Okay, now we are looking at documents of the bike. Okay, this thing was supposed to be at the top. It's very important, guys, documents. Verify the RC, like I said, verify the owner name. It should be the same person whom you are dealing with. RC, invoice copy if possible. If the bike is like 5-6 years old, then it might be difficult for the owner to find the invoice because he would have kept it somewhere and lost it. And also please check for the insurance validity dates. If it's expired, then please either get a deduction of the amount that costs you to do a new insurance, or ask the seller, whoever is giving you the bike, ask him to renew the insurance and then give it. Road tax receipt, it's not really required for you, but it's better if you get it. And you have to see whether the bike is in loan. So suppose a bike is just 1 year or 2 year old and bike was purchased on loan, so you need to get the no objection certificate after clearing the loan. And outstate bike, yes, this is a very important factor. I don't usually prefer outstate bikes because there is a problem with registration. See, suppose I live in Karnataka. I only look for bikes which are Karnataka registered, KA registered. Suppose someone is selling me a MH bike or a TN bike, KL bike, then I would not prefer it. I would not prefer it because I cannot transfer it in my name. It's gonna cost me a lot because I have to pay the road taxes again to my state here, my state government, if I want to transfer the bike to my name. So that's an unwanted expense actually. So if you get the same state bike, right? So if when I get a KA bike, all I want to do is just transfer the name of the ownership, and it's gonna cost you very less, guys, like maybe 1,500 to 2,000 rupees. Always better if you get the same state bike, or if you're getting outstate bikes, then it will require no objection certificate from their RTO, from their state RTO, so that you can have the bike, get the bike registered here in your state. Guys, to be frank, there is a lot of things to tell you about used superbikes. It's a vast topic. I'm just trying to tell you most important things. I don't know what I have not covered in this. You will have to ask me in the comments or hit me up on Instagram. Now the question is, where do you buy these used superbikes? So it's a direct answer. If you know anybody who's selling it, either through your friends, or you see something on OLX, or you see something posted on Facebook groups, so that's where you contact the direct owner. And then we have dealers. So these dealers, this would be their main profession, guys. This would be their life income. Most of the dealers, they just connect the seller and the buyer. They just act as an intermediate connection, the bridge between buyer and seller. So the reason why I have written here prefer known is because these dealers, they tend to somehow push the bike off for the commission or any other benefits. Not everybody, but some of the dealers. They would not tell you clearly what has happened to the bike or what has been the bike's history, where the bike was and for what it was used. they might try to hide things and be plain. So I prefer if you know the dealer through somebody who's close to them, then it works out well. Otherwise, it's a little risky, little. And lastly, we have the dealerships. Now, dealerships are different from dealers. Dealerships, they will have their own shops. They'll have an inventory of bikes or cars. They would have bought from people, whoever is selling it. They would have bought it from them. They would have maintained, did some body work or updated the documents like insurance, and they would have kept everything ready for it to be sold. So they are nothing but shops, guys. For superbikes, I doubt there will be too many shops, not here in Bangalore at least. I've seen in YouTube videos they have shops in Mumbai, in Delhi, but here in Bangalore, I am not sure of any famous shop. So my friends, if you don't know any of these three, you don't know an owner, you don't know a dealer, you have no idea about a dealership, so then you hit me on Instagram at deepu.vlogs. I will help you out in buying a superbike. Provided it should be in Bangalore. I don't know where you might be from. You have to come here to Bangalore, pick it up and go. That is your problem. I won't guarantee you that I'll always get bikes for you, but I do know few people who are really good with some crazy contacts. So guys, hope this video was helpful to you. Like I said, this is a vast topic. I might have missed out few things here. Anyways, you guys let me know which is your favorite motorcycle in the comment section below. I want to just see which bike has the highest market demand. So if you ask me my favorite motorcycle, well, I've never told this to anybody. Whoever asks me, I just tell them I love all the bikes. I would like to explore all the bikes. But there is one particular bike, one special bike that I fell in love with. And if given a chance, I would buy it, but it's very expensive. Also, it's limited. I don't think everybody can buy it. So the bike is Ducati Desmosity Chi RR, guys. I fell in love with this motorcycle, this super sports, when Jason Statham was riding it in the Expendables. I don't know, there's something special about that bike. Wish I'll have that one day. Not to ride, but just to keep in my garage and tell, yes, I have my dream bike right here. I know most of you all have your dream bikes, so let them know in the comment section below. So this used superbike field is like a hit or miss case. If you are smart and if you know what to check, which bike to get, then it's not gonna be a problem for you. Otherwise, you will have to be very, very careful. I'll be making more lockdown vlogs while you guys stay home and stay safe. Enjoy the show, of course. Peace.